Are you seriously interested in losing weight? You're going to have to listen because I write in shorthand. Are you seriously interested in losing weight? And here's the importance to that. You need to find out if they're interested or not. Quick. You know, maybe somebody saw the buttons on TV or something like that. Now all of a sudden they're just kind of interested in talking to you about the button and see what you're going to say. And, you know, you're really trying your best. You're laying your best sales pitch on them. You're telling them about all the nutrients and the micronutrients and and all this kind of stuff. And you're really trying your best. And they're just sitting there trying to waste the time of day with you. You see what I'm saying? You need to ask them, are they serious? You know, you guys and you girls are getting so good looking from the products. Maybe they're just trying to, make some idle conversation to get some, some footsie going and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So you need to say, are you seriously interested in losing weight? Now, if they say no, ask them, what are they seriously interested in doing? I can see you girls have had this problem before, right? Okay, so get it down to where it's serious. Second one is, how much weight would you like to lose? How much weight would you like to lose? Third one is, what type of diets have you tried before? What type of diets have you tried before? Fourth one is, why didn't they work? Fifth one is, we have a product you can lose up to 29 excess pounds per month on. We have a product you can lose up to 29 excess pounds per month on. Plus, gives you the nutrition that you need. Plus, gives you the nutrition that you need. 7 is, go back to question number 4. Now, as I'm explaining this, I want to explain it to you in a proper fashion, because some of you are going to have the tendency to think that there's more to be said than what I'm going to say. And I promise you, by the time I get done, you're going to think that there's not a whole lot more you need to say. But this little pitch here will help you with all 3 situations. Someone who wants to lose, maybe maintain, or just wants better health, or to lose. For instance, someone says, how? Say, are you seriously interested in losing weight? They say, yeah, I'm seriously interested. How much weight would you like to lose? Oh, about 25 pounds. Well, what type of diets have you tried before? Well, I just tried starving myself to death. Well, why didn't it work? I was always starving all the time. Okay? They say, well, we have a product you can lose up to 29 excess pounds a month on. Plus, it gives you all the nutrition that you need. And the greatest thing about our product is you're not starving and you get to eat. You see what we're saying? So whatever their objection is, you handle it. Another one could be this. How? Are you seriously interested in losing weight? No, I'm not seriously interested. Well, what are you seriously interested in? I say, I'm interested in gaining weight. I say, well, how much weight are you interested in gaining? Oh, about 25 pounds. Well, what type of things have you tried to gain weight on before? Well, I tried the Joe Tweeter program. Okay? Well, well, why didn't it work? Well, I had to stick this little thing on the knob, and I pulled it like this, and it flew off the knob, hit me in the head, I got a concussion. Okay? Say, well, the greatest thing about our product is we have a product you can effectively gain weight on, plus it gives you the nutrients that you need, and the greatest thing is you don't have to pull this thing on the knob like that, fly off the handle, hit you in the head, get a concussion. Okay? So it can cover that one. It can cover this. Somebody wants better nutrition. So are you seriously interested in losing? They say, how? Are you seriously interested? They say, no. What are you seriously interested in? They say, I'm interested in getting on a good nutrition program. Well, you wouldn't say, how nutritional would you like to get? You'd have to, of course, unless you're here in California, you might say, oh, about 97% worth. You know. Or if you were up in San Jose area, 98%, you know. Okay, but you'd have to skip this one here. You'd say, well, what type of nutritional products have you tried before? Well, I tried Nutrilite. Well, why didn't it work? Well, to be honest with you, I just really didn't feel that different when I tried the product. We have a product that will give you all the proper nutrition, and the greatest thing about our product is you really do feel different when you're on it. You see what we're saying? So we'll handle every single situation that you come across out there in the field. Now, what we've done here is we've covered what you say when someone says how. Then you go into the product portion. Here's what you say about the products. This here is formula number 1. This here is formula number 2. This one here is formula number 3. $5 who gets the next one. And formula number 4 is right here. This one here is cellulose. We're not going to go through everything. Let's just stick with this. This one here is herbal aloe, makes everything I just showed you work faster. This is formula number 1, formula number 2, formula number 3, formula number 4. This one's cellulose, this is herbal aloe, makes everything I just showed you work faster. Now, number 1, could that person really derive much from that presentation? Did they know about the amino acid content in there? No. Did they know that there was herbs in there? You see, did we talk about the fatty acids and stuff like that in formula 4? Do we talk about vitamin A content? You see, the majority of the objections that you guys come up against are things that you specifically bring up yourself by saying more about the product that's intended to say. Listen, you want to lose weight? 1, 2, 3, 4, cellulose, herbal aloe makes everything work faster. You guys are bringing up objections yourself by saying extra things about the product. And I know it's going to happen. Some of you here in the room are going to, because of you've gotten some new information today. You've heard the products a little bit differently today. You certainly got some new information from Dr. Katzen here today. You've got this new profound knowledge here. You got some questions answered that you felt that were, you know, because of the Senate hearing or because of this article or because of that article. You got some new information now, and you're just ready to go out and talk to the next person. And now someone comes up to you and they say, how do you lose weight? And you say, I'm glad you asked. You know, I just happened to recently attain a 8-hour seminar where Mark Hughes himself, the founder of Herbalife, was present. And he talked to us about the proper amount of proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins and minerals, all the essential oils that the body needs. And we also found out from Dr. Katzen that when you're burning up your fat, you want to be very careful because you get xenobiotic, biotic, anticipation, toxic poisoning. And some of these things will be going through the blood and be coming out in these different poisons. And we also found out from Mr. Hughes that some of the hamburgers we've been eating have concrete filled in them. And therefore, when you get onto the product, you may be detoxifying and you want to make certain that you drink extra herbal aloe because you may get a little bit of nausea, a little bit of constipation, or a little bit of headaches. Let me clue you in. They're going to get nauseated and constipated. Just listen to you. All right? And you don't need to be adding all this other ramadula into the product. It's not necessary because you're going to give them things that they can draw on, which I'll tell you about here in a few minutes. Now, so you memorize these things here. This is what you say about the products. Now, I got to just explain a few things to you here because you guys are really putting in some extra stuff into your pitch that is definitely not necessary. You think that we've had a little problem here with the media. You also think that we've got a little problem here with the Senate, and you think it needs to be explained to people. You think that we've got this problem with the Attorney General. It needs to be explained to people. Here's what you need to understand first. An objection is an objection, regardless of what it is. Write that down. An objection is an objection. And if you focus on that objection for any amount of seconds, you are losing. I'll give you a very good example. In the beginning of the company, we got the objection, what do you mean about these herbs? That sounds extremely don't you remember the old distributors? You started trying to talk about herbs to people 5 years ago. I mean, it was like talking about witchcraftery 5 years. What do you mean, cleanse the system? What's that supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? We came up with objections back in the beginning. If you started talking about the herbs and stuff like that, they thought you were out of your mind. And they were hesitant about using the herbs because they didn't know about them, and they thought that the herbs might possibly do what? Harm them. Okay? We had that objection in the beginning that we had to overcome. I'll tell you something else. These articles that have been floating around about vitamin A and stuff like that, toxic poisoning and stuff like that. Someone asked you, listen, what about the toxic poisoning about this vitamin A? What is the objection there? That they could be what? Harmed. But you guys don't have a problem with this vitamin A situation. Let me tell you something else. How many distributors in this room were around when Cambridge was around? A lot of you. Now you guys are going to enjoy this. Remember when Cambridge was around? And then all of you started getting hit with this Cambridge deal, and they were asking you, they were saying, well, isn't it just like Cambridge? Remember that deal? What was the issue for those people? That they might be what? Harmed. Why? Because people were what? Dying on the Cambridge product. So what was the objection? They might die. You guys are coming up with some objections now, right? We've been blasted in the media. 4 people possibly linked to death with Herbalife product. Isn't that right? Toxic substances in the herbs and stuff like that. Isn't that right? What's the issue? Harm. What was the issue with Cambridge? Harm. But I tell you what did happen was this. You guys started getting hit with this Cambridge thing, and you know what you started doing? You started getting fed up with the Cambridge thing. You started adding some extra things into your presentation. Someone said, isn't it just like Cambridge? You said, no, it's not like Cambridge, because in Cambridge what you do is you take 3 shakes a day, only getting 330 calories a day, and that's all you get is protein. And we all know if you only get protein, your body starves of itself, so it's carbohydrates, it's fats, vitamins, minerals, and essential oils, and your body robs it from itself. Therefore, in our program, what you're doing is you're eating 2 shakes a day, but you also get your proper amount of carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, and minerals, and all the essential oils because you're taking 3 other tablets, and you also get to eat food, and so it's entirely different, and I've lost 40 pounds, and you want to lose some weight. Now, how many remember going through that stuff? Now, at a certain point when Cambridge was around, you guys got so fed up with the nauseating sickness of listening to someone talk about Cambridge products that when someone started coming up to you and saying Cambridge, you had gone through this pitch so many times, you had finally convinced yourself that this was not like Cambridge. And at that point, when people started coming up to you and giving you the Cambridge objection, someone came up to you and said, this is like Cambridge, isn't it? And you went like this. And they said to themselves, must not be. And what I want you to understand is this. It's that instant attitude that you portrayed to the other individual which got you out of the problem of something that's a very big issue. What? Death? That's pretty big stuff, isn't it? And by you just portraying that attitude, you got yourself out of it. And you know what you're doing today? Remember, an objection is an objection. And you know what's happening to you today? Some of you think that Herbalife should be going out here and doing a mass media campaign. You wouldn't believe it, but we're on television 4 times a month. Isn't that amazing? Some of you think that we should go out here and run commercials. Herbalife didn't kill anybody. That's like Richard Nixon saying, I'm not a crook. And that's all you remember through life. And I'll tell you what you're doing. You're going out here now and someone's saying, you know what? I just saw you guys on the news. And you know what you're saying? Which channel? What did they say? Is it something I haven't heard yet? You see? And you guys are contributing you guys are taking such a low mental life attitude that you are contributing to the mental deficiencies of someone else's attitude problem. That's sickening. That is terrible. When you could have said, regardless of what the situation is, you could have just said, listen, I don't know about that, but I do know this. I got on these products, I lost 16 pounds, and you know something? I feel better than I ever have in my entire life. And I'll tell you something. You get on these products, and I'll tell you what, you're going to lose weight too. And for any reason, if you don't, I'll be more than happy to give you your money back. But I'll tell you something. You get on this stuff, and you're going to love this. And you could have just simply gone through that. You could do that with any objection. They said, listen, weren't you guys in a Senate hearing? Yeah, we were. But I'll tell you something. I got on these products, and I lost 16 pounds. And I feel better than I ever have in my entire life. You see, because when your attitude is that way, does it bother the customer? It's no problem to you. It's no problem to them. You see, you guys are making too big a deal out of this. It's that instant attitude that gets across to people. If you had come to me 10 minutes before the Senate hearing, and you were to say to me, Mark Hughes, hey, do you think we're going to make it after this? And I hesitated for a minute. Think of how devastating that'd be to you. But now I want you to take it back. I want you to think if I had hesitated for 2 seconds, how that would damper your attitude. And let me tell you something. Your customers do not see my face. They do not see my attitude. They have not seen the film on me. They have not seen the company. What they're going to see is your face and your reaction to every single thing. And the minute that you contribute to anything and pay attention to any objection and not only tell your side of the story, you guys are losing. They've got you. And you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to explain a little bit about the facts of this deal over here. And then you know what you're going to have to do? They're going to want to know some more facts about the deal. And you're going to end up having to explain this one. Whereas every single objection, regardless of what it is, you could just be saying, I don't know about that, but I do know this. I got on the product, I lost weight. You get on it, you'll lose weight. Listen, can you make money about it? Listen, all I know is this guy over here got into the business, made money with it. If you get into it, you can make money too. Is it like Amway? I don't know about that, but I do know this. It's nutritional products. You get into it, you make money, and so does this person. Regardless of what it is, gang, you guys are concentrating on it too much. Our story is more powerful than anybody's lack of mental... I mean, don't you guys see this? Doesn't this make sense? See, the objections through the years, gang, have never changed. And they're never going to change. For instance, if someone says to you, well, what about these amino acids? Isn't there too much in there? What's the story? See, I don't know about that. But if you explain it, you do know about that, and there could be a problem. What about there's too much vitamin A in there? What's the issue with them? Death could be harmful for them. What about this? Oh, I've heard about this vitamin B6 poisoning and stuff like that. Now, the fact that you'd have to take 100 times what's in our product, as far as B6 is concerned, to get a paralyzing effect in your elbow, to not be able to raise your arm over this much, okay? But they start talking to you about the B6, and you start wondering, well, I wonder about this and I wonder about that. Listen, how many of you have been using the products over 2 weeks? See, the thing that you do know is it doesn't do that. You see? And so, therefore, to talk about anything other than the things you know is absurd. So here's what you need to say. When any objection comes up, I don't know about that. Could you get someone on the product, long distance, over in Chicago, and tell them how to use the product over the telephone? Could you do that? You're convinced you can do that. You could get them on the products here locally too, couldn't you? Certainly. Could you tell someone how to wear the button over the telephone? Certainly. Wear the button. Not real difficult. Okay? You could do that. Could you tell someone over the telephone how to write these 7 things down? Could you? Certainly. If they didn't know how to write, could you send it to them in a mailgram? Yes. Then, could you tell someone to memorize the pitch? I don't know about that. You know, I don't know about that, Mary, but I do know this. This guy right here got on the product, lost 147 pounds. He feels better than he ever has in his entire life. And I know if you get on the product, you're going to feel great. And if you don't, I'll be more than happy to give you your money back. And you're just going to love this stuff. See, anybody, gang, can learn how to do that. Anybody. And your training classes don't have to be 15 hours long. Because how long does it take to teach someone how to use the product? 5 minutes. How long does it take them to wear the button? 5 seconds. How long does it take them to do this? As long as it tells you to take them to write it down. I don't know about that. Get a journal. You see, anybody can do that, gang, and you guys have misused the opportunity to its fullest extent because you think that these people need an extra training class. Let's face it, gang. Who can use the products? Everybody. Who can memorize these 7 things? Everybody. Who can wear the button? Everybody. Who can go out and say, I don't know about that? Everybody. So who can do the business? Everybody. Why? Because they don't have to know nothing. And I'm telling you something. Once you guys start to take your business this way, it's going to be incredible. I'll tell you, it's going to be your biggest problem. Right now, I'm going to warn you in advance. You're going to continue to put other things in your business. And as a result of doing that, you can't get this simplicity across to your distributors. Because they're going to say, yeah, but isn't there a little bit more? And you're going to say, yes, this, and this. And as a result, you're not going to have that dodo business. I'll tell you what Jim Forbear does. Besides the things that Larry's going to talk to you about, these basics don't change. The things that Larry's going to be talking to you about will just make things happen quicker for you, to be able to utilize the satellites. Does this mean that if you gave opportunity meetings, it wouldn't make this happen faster? Does it? Certainly would make it happen faster. Utilizing the television will make it happen faster. Utilizing the satellites will make it happen faster. All those are pluses, but does it change this? No, it doesn't change this. And some of you are going to have a problem by adding these little extra things in. And as a result, you're not going to get the kind of results that a Jim Forbear does. Because I'll tell you what Jim Forbear does. He does exactly what I'm talking about. And that's why you saw Jim Forbear when at one point in his career, he shot past everybody and started capitalizing on the experience. You know why? Because everybody in Jim Forbear's group started saying, what else do you do, Jim? He just said, well, I'm using those products. And I'm wearing that button. And I'm talking to them people. And I'm making this $100,000 a month. But Jim, I understand that. But I got to do some more. Give me some more. He says, yeah, there may be a whole lot more, but I'm using this product, and I'm wearing the button, and I'm talking to people, and I am making this $100,000 a month, and there may be more, but I'm making this $100,000 a month. You see. And that's why people have said, listen, man, this guy's doing it, I can do it, and more people have understood that they can do it in Jim Forbear's group as a result of him doing that to his people. And that's what he does. Yes, he does opportunity meetings. Yes, he gets in on the satellites. Yes, he's got meetings going all over the country. Yes, he capitalizes on the television. Yes, he does trainings to his organization. Yes, he does all that stuff. He does all that. But these basics cannot change, gang. These are basics that are from the beginning to the middle to the end, to where we have been able to take larger groups of people and have been able to communicate this message in a faster way. And that's all. And you cannot escape these basics here. And I'm telling you, once you get off and start making money this way, it's going to be astounding, because you're going to get someone else to do it. And then someone else is going to say, isn't there anything more you do? And they're going to say, I don't know about that. All I know is this is what I do, and I make money doing it. And it's going to be the most overwhelming experience you've ever had in your entire life, and it's going to be the most funnest experience you've ever had in your entire life. If there was anything else I could leave you with here today, before we take a small break, to tell you about the ways to make this happen faster, would be this. Is use the products, wear the button, talk to people, and put perspiration on your forehead. Put some perspiration on your forehead. Go out and intensely talk to people about the products. Intensely and talk to people about the opportunity. Go out here and hit it with Herbalife. You know, it's amazing what you can do with your life if you want to bad enough. Let me tell you something, gang. There's a lot of things I've experienced in my life since I was 15 years old. Through coming through some real traumatic times at a certain point in my life. Through the drug experiences that you've heard about, through all the different things. It's amazing what you can do with your life if you want to bad enough. It's overwhelming what you can do. Let's just take a poll here in the room. If I was to write out of my interest account, let's say, a $50,000 cashier's check, and I was to put it up here on the table, and I was to say to you, whoever goes out in this room and gets 5 brand new customers in the next 3 hours, you get to have this $50,000 cashier's check. How many of you would go get those 5 brand new customers? Now look at this. Look at everybody. Isn't this amazing? Take a look, gang, at why you did that. See, it's always why you do it, not how you do it. Now, by the way, I got to make it perfectly clear. We're not giving out the $50,000 cashier check. I said a Rolls Royce one time, and some lady, boom, she smoked it to the telephones, right? But see, it's never how you get the job done. You know, for a moment, there's a lot of you from out of town here, and not one of you started thinking about, oh my goodness, I can't run an ad today in the next 3 hours. Oh my goodness, I don't know anybody in this area. See, it wouldn't matter how you got the job done. Let me tell you something. You'd run out of this room, grab the nearest bellboy, strangle him to the ground, and pull $29.95 out of his pocket. And I'm telling you now, when you put that kind of intensity into your life, is the day your life will turn around. Regardless if it's in this business, regardless if it's in your marriage, regardless if it's in your children, regardless of what it is, your life can change today as a result of that kind of intensity and that kind of momentum, gang. And let me tell you something. Whether you're doing this opportunity for an hour, whether you do it for 8 hours, why not give it your best? Because let me tell you something. When you go home at night, the thrill of being able to go to bed that evening and rest with peace, saying to yourself, I did my best, is the greatest thing that you'll ever feel. And God bless you. That's what we got to do. Stay down. Okay, here's what we want to do. We want to teach you guys how to get the business going quicker for you through all the avenues that we've got. Let's do this. Take a look at your watch. Be back here no later than 3:30 because we got to start right on time. Okay?